I will be aggressive like I always am.
I want to race against the best athletes I can find.
It's just the pressure's going to be colossal for me. My goal is to win.
My sport is Hyrox.
I'm David Megida, and my sport is Hyrox.
My name is Antje Hades, and my sport is Hyrox.
My name is John Wynn, and my sport is Hyrox.
I'm Megan Jacoby, and my sport is Hyrox.
If you didn't know by now, the action never stops in Hyrox. Around the world, athletes are taking up this new sports concept and competing in the very many races. Hyrox is certainly here to stay. This new sports concept bridges the gap between traditional endurance and functional fitness, combining running with well-known gym exercise in a standardized format. It moves from country to country, but there are 3 elite racing events in the Hyrox season that stand out. In our previous episode, we saw how competitive the elite field was when we closely followed the sport's top athletes in the Open European Championships in Maastricht. Let's now move on. The Open North American Championship race in 2023 brought athletes to Chicago, USA. Alongside the elite races on the weekend, Hyrox also ran its regular open, individual, double and team relay categories with a total of more than 2,000 people attending. Hyrox is hugely exciting regardless of the category, but most of the spectators were focused on the battle between the top 15 male and female athletes, the ones that shape the Elite 15 field. With World Championship qualification slots on the line and a stacked field of athletes, all eyes were on their race.
It's an opportunity to showcase hard work. That's really what it is. It gives me a chance to see all of the stuff that I've kind of done. In the past would have been done maybe in secret. Now with social media, it's very easy to do a lot of the work out in the open. It's true. But what you get to do is, no matter what you've done, there are a lot of guys who can crack good workouts, you know? But the race is what's measured. The race is what they keep records of. The race is what they're looking at to say who was first, second, and third. Great, you did an awesome workout. You should be proud of that. But there's no medals for workouts. And so that's what a race is. That's that opportunity to go, hey, I'm not just good when I'm on my own on a Thursday afternoon. I'm good when the lights are on and it's go time.
So I'm just looking forward, again, being there in the race with the elites. And I mean, I'm learning from the girls that have been into the sport for a long time. So, and I think the whole experience, I'm always leaving the race with a smile, even though, as I didn't feel good the last race, I went home and I was smiling because it was so much fun and meeting all the people again, and everyone's so nice, and it's the whole experience. And I think that's also the reason why I traveled this far to go again. And I decided for like 2 weeks ago, or maybe less, to like, yeah, of course I'm going, because I just felt I couldn't miss this.
succeeding in such a physically demanding test where elite competitors strive for glory takes a lot, but sometimes you just need to stay true to your routine, no matter how important a race is.
A race day routine for me, I guess I like to go into every race with minimal pressure and expectation, so I just try to take things pretty chill. I always focus on trying to get good food and sleep leading up to the race day, and then race day, kind of the same thing. Just make sure I'm eating something substantial, staying hydrated, and then when it's go time, it's go time. And whatever I did up until then, hopefully it worked.
Yeah, my classic race day routine for an event that starts a little bit later is actually something I'm still trying to figure out. I've raced a lot over the years, and more times than not, they're first thing in the morning. But I've been practicing a little bit with some of my really Hyrox specific workouts, trying to do them later in the afternoon so that I can practice that routine leading up to it. That way, come race day, everything's a little bit more smooth. But the first thing I try to do is sleep like as long as I can, and kind of prolong that first meal of the day, because you don't want a ton of food in your belly. So if the race is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, by 1 typically you've had breakfast and lunch, but that's a lot of food to be sitting around trying to digest before your event. So I try to sleep hopefully 8:30, wake up, try to get in a meal maybe around 10. That gives me 3 hours to digest, and I'll usually eat a big meal.
I try to keep things pretty normal to what I would normally do, just that way I'm not, overthinking or overcomplicating anything. This is just another race, another performance. So I try to get a good night's sleep, of course, drinking a lot of water, eating at a normal time, because we go in the early afternoon, so kind of eating a normal breakfast, and not spending a lot of time in the venue. I love supporting everyone, but it's very high energy, so you gotta conserve that, not get too excited too early.
With so much talent in the field and some of the best Hyrox athletes attending the event in Chicago, it was a great chance for everyone to test their limits against top-notch competition. While the athletes aim to be crowned world champion at the end of the season, it's important for them to work out who are the genuine contenders to watch out for.
The best Hyrox athlete someday is going to be me. That's the hope that I put a lot of work into. We'll see. As of today, I think Lauren Weeks is I would say Lauren Weeks is somebody that has put a lot of time and effort into this. This is something that she's passionate about, and it shows. And she, just watching her over the past several years, she's put a lot of work and effort into becoming the best and continues to show up and be the best. So I would say it's Lauren Weeks.
I say that I've got the potential. I think I am there. I'm definitely there. I just need it to come together. I need some things up top to sort of cement in place, and I'm there, but I'm not there yet. Alex is very strong, I think. I just lack that. I think that finish, the finish to the race, because everyone's in pain towards the end, everyone, and I just don't suffer enough. I'm looking for an out all the time. If I wasn't looking for an out, maybe I would be there, but I am, so I'm not there yet.
Hyrox is much more than just a series of events where top athletes try to excel and separate themselves from the competition. It's a whole new lifestyle that has set the stage literally for everyone who wants to exercise and also compete. It also helps people leave a challenging period behind them, such as Denise Brazier did. An active woman with an exceptional mindset. Let's learn more about her story.
I was fit and healthy. I've always been quite fit and healthy. Done quite a bit of running. A few years ago, 5 years ago, I was unwell. We were shopping, I was out shopping with my husband, and all of a sudden I lost my vision. Everything just went sort of tunnel vision. Took me down to A&E, and they were absolutely fantastic. They obviously then they knew what the signs were. I had no idea what was happening. Got me in for a brain scan within literally minutes, I think. Put me up on the stroke ward, which was, massive shock. I've never seen anything, any place like it. And you're kind of locked in the ward for sort of about 4 or 5 days. There's a button code to get out of the ward, because you can't just get up and walk around. And then, I was getting really frustrated, and I wanted to get out of bed. And the nurse was kind of like, you could drop down dead, basically. I think the part of me was a bit embarrassed, to be honest, because I was quite fit and healthy, and you sort of have people who are always telling you that being fit and healthy is bad for you. You do too much, you're gonna hurt your knees, or hurt your back, or whatever. And part of me was a little bit embarrassed about what happened. The same thing had happened to my mum. She was 38 and she had a stroke, same age. It's just one of them things, unfortunately. I found out about Hyrox when a friend sent me a message when she'd seen it advertising last year when they first came to London, and she said, "This looks like something you'd be interested in." And I kind of got a few of the gang together, and we came down and we did the first London Hyrox last September, and absolutely loved it, and we've been doing it ever since. There's a little group of us that have been training together for a few years, and we do a little bit of everything. Some people into running, some people into weights, and this seemed to be a race that we could all be part of. There really is sort of something for everyone, and it is, unlike other races, it's quite inclusive. So it's not just for people who are good at running, it's not just for the people who are good at weightlifting. It kind of incorporates everyone, and that's what I love, that we could all be part of it together.
It's now time for the sport to begin. In the men's field, all eyes were on the local hero, Ryan Kent, who made no mistake announcing that he was the guy to beat. European champion Alexander Ronsevits was also one of the pre-race favourites.
Yeah, the best Hyrox athlete in the world currently is me, without question. There's obviously somebody else out there who I have a great amount of respect for, and I can't wait to race him again. But I think right now, it's my time right now. And that's no disrespect to all the other guys out there. I think there's levels to this. And I think I'm just a tick ahead of those guys right now.
The race started as expected, with Michael Sandbach going hard. But right behind him was Ryan Kent after the ski erg. Alexander Ronsevits looked slightly weaker than a few weeks ago at the sleds and fell back to 8th position after the sled push. Things turned around at the burpees, where Ryan Kent suddenly lost over 30 seconds to David Magida and Dylan Scott, who both moved into the top 3. Sandbach still led by 30 seconds, but the race was far from over. The positions remained after the rowing, but the farmer's carry was a decisive point in the race as Scott and Megida closed the gap on Sandbach, with all three heading out onto the running track just seconds apart. Megida and Scott's running performances on the day were from another planet. The two Americans pulled ahead of Sandbach, and while Scott tried everything to challenge Megida on the wall balls, the Washington, D.C. athlete secured his first ever Hyrox Elite 15 title and became the new North American Open Champion 2023.
North American champion. That sounds really, really good. I think I've been training and racing my entire life. Like, I started racing when I was in 4th grade, so that's 10 years old. And I started training with the high school kids when I was in 6th grade. And I've been running 35, 40 miles a week at least since I was 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. And so I've been training my whole life, and I've always wanted to be a champion. My dream has always been to be champion, and this is fulfilling a lifelong dream. Do I think that my top end is better than anybody else out there? I do. Do I think I can access that every single race? Obviously, no. There's gonna be days where you have down races and days where you have really high-end races. And for me, I think on my best day, I'm better than everyone in the world.
After such a thrilling race, everyone is now excited about the World Championships in Manchester and seeing repeats of these battles as they aim for ultimate glory. The action in the women's field was equally impressive. European Open champion Lauren Weeks, who impressed in Maastricht just 6 months after giving birth, Sweden's Michaela Norman with her strength at running, and Megan Jacoby from New York, who's proving to be one of the world's best in recent races, caught the attention. It all started with an unlucky moment for Michaela, who fell during the first run just 24 seconds after the start of the race. However, she managed to arrive third into the ski erg, but was dropping down the field by the middle of the sled pushers.
Quickly up and tried to chase. Like, I tried to catch the places that I lost. So I wasn't thinking that much, because this is what can happen. And of course it wasn't a good thing, but it could happen to anyone. And yeah, someone kicked on my leg and I fell, and next time maybe it's someone else. It just go quickly up and then doing your best to get back to the spot you want.
The comeback was not over. At the burpees, Norman caught up on Greenlee and Tafuto. It was only Megan Jacoby who was able to follow Michaela after she quickly gained the lead at the start of the rowing. Lauren Weeks was not at her best, yet she still managed to come back and finish on the podium. Ultimately, gold went to Norman after her incredible performance that saw Jacoby finishing second.
an entirely different approach. You know, it was go out aggressive, be aggressive the whole time, stay there, don't, you know, fade off at all. So it's just an entirely different, like, the way it played out was different than the last time, so. But that's the biggest thing about being a competitor is it's gonna go different every time, and you have to be able to handle whatever happens.
I'm really impressed with Michaela. Like, she didn't kind of fall into like the trap of overreaching in the beginning, and she like slowly climbed her way into like getting a decent sized lead for that win. So I think like her approach was really good, and it's not one that I think I would personally be successful in. So you kind of have to, every racer is going to be different. You have to find what's going to work for you, and that's a good strategy for her. But based off of like my strengths and weaknesses, that's not one that I think I would be able to be successful in.
It had been a bit different. Like we of course we are competitors at the floor, but you can't feel it outside the floor. And I think that means a lot. It means a lot to just being able to have fun outside competition. And when we're on the floor, I mean, we all put our head down and do our best, and we are competitors. And but outside we can still be friends, and that means a lot. And that also feels like I think we all want everyone's best.
This event proved again just how strong the competition is in Hyrox, and with the clock ticking ahead of the pinnacle event of the year, the World Championships in Manchester, expectations are going off the charts.
I don't think there's a favorite for World Championships. I think there's like 6 or 7 guys who are going to go in there and beat the hell out of each other, and someone's going to be champion, and everyone else is going to have their hearts broken.
It's going to be horrendously painful. The pressure's on me because it's my hometown, I'm an hour away, I've got my whole gym coming, my family, my wife's family. It's massive for me, that race. I'm going to have to go to a place probably mentally, physically, that I've never been before. I'm dreading it and I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to it. It's just the pressure's going to be colossal for me.
It means that the World Championships should be really exciting because you're going to line it back up and it's going to be the same thing. 6, 7 guys who can win. You know, that's what it was today. 6 guys who could win, and one of those 6 did win. And I mean, that makes, when there's a lot of parity in the sport, when you've got like, you don't really know who's going to win this and you get 3, 4, 5 lead changes throughout, that's fun to watch, you know? That's fun to watch. So what it does is, as the sport gets more condensed with regards to, you know, times between first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and you start getting 6, 7 guys coming into the wall balls at the same time, you start getting a show. And like, that's what sport is. Sport is theater. So that's what it means for World Champs. Is like, you know, don't count anybody out. It can really be a show.
Those athletes that are new to the Hyrox world are learning at each event. Every race is a new lesson, every run is a new source of advice, and it's all about sharing what you've learned.
Especially when it gets hard, I think our instinct is to, or if you mess something up, which we clearly know, I've made race mistakes and I've been able to come back from them because I'm an extremely mentally tough person. So I think, you know, things are gonna happen that are out of your control and you just have to shake it off and keep moving, and you can't dwell on it.
My biggest advice for a Hyrox is to prepare to hurt for kind of whatever the estimated time is, an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you go into it planning to crush it, it will smash you. So my biggest advice is to prepare to hurt for as long as it takes you, and it is so worth it at the finish line. That's what I've told several people. Just prepare to hurt for a while.